very confusing. My name is Rabeb. My nickname is Bibi. I've been Bibi forever, so you can call me Bibi. So I work with the Interledger Foundation. We are a nonprofit in the tech space. It's very important to emphasize that we are in the tech space. We have really interesting and promising tech stack. So basically, it's all open. So our open technology is comprised of standards and protocols. The Interledger protocol is kind of the original story. Brilliant engineers created this protocol, and from that protocol, a whole foundation was born after that. So, and the idea is we facilitate payments between different payment networks and ledgers. Obviously, being a foundation, our mission is really to bring, a financial inclusion. We work on, giving access to everyone, hopefully around the world, and giving, equitable opportunities and economic opportunities, focusing mostly on usually underrepresented and underprivileged communities. So. Again, being a foundation, we work with a lot of partners. These partners are like banks, integrators, universities, researchers, policymakers, and engineers. We have a lovely community, and this technical community, we pride ourselves in building with and for our community. As I mentioned, we really work on some really interesting stuff, from helping rural communities in Mexico or in South Africa to also helping content owners. So for the sake of this talk, I'll be using publishers as an example of these content owners. And I don't use creators or influencers for kind of obvious reasons. So we're gonna keep it on the positive side of things and say owners, content owners, but these could be podcasters, video creators, again, publishers, bloggers, musicians. We worked with musicians in the past, artists in general. So this is e-community that we focus on and we try to help. So with that, let's see what's happening in that space. I love this slide because it says the problem with the web, as if there is one problem, but let's pretend there is one problem. So this is a true story. Amateur Gourmet is a food blogger who recently published his first novel. And I follow him on Instagram, lovely person. So I really like him as, a social media person and a blogger. And then part of this, promotion for his book, he was interviewed. And I really wanted to read the interview because the interview was about him not having all these strategic ways to be on social media and just being himself. So I'm like, oh, I really want to read this interview. I could not because the interview was gated behind the subscription. And I just wanted to read one article. I did not plan that day to commit to a long-term subscription, not to mention that I refused to give my money to the Wall Street Journal. Yes. And when we are lucky enough and content is not gated behind subscriptions and paywalls, most of the time, there is so much ads on the page that it's not visually pleasing. It's just too much clutter that the whole experience you can't read. There are so many times where I was trying to read something and then it was just I didn't even know when the article started, when the ads ended, etc. So it's not a pleasing experience for the end user. On the other side of the coin, if you are a publisher, if you are someone who rely on content to make money, you do need a way to make money. And traditionally, ads most probably are the way to make money. So while it might be not particularly great for the user to see all these things on the screen, you still need them to make some revenue. So the point is, it's not ideal for everyone involved. Those who are consuming content and those who are creating and owning content. And it goes a little bit even deeper than this. I brought receipts, so you know I'm very serious about this. So as you can see, this stat is like 6 years ago. 6 years ago, 70% of all the big publications in Europe and the US are already gated. And I feel like I can make a safe bet that this number did not go down in this 6 years. It's probably went up. So yeah, again, not great for users. I don't want to spend money. I'm just interested in one piece of content. On the other side, internet users are quite savvy these days, and almost half of them are using ad blockers. I do. So if you are, again, if you're trying to monetize and relying on ads for that, it might not be the best of strategies because potentially half of the users are not even there. So you're not getting any money out of that. And then Rachel Lee was telling me some really interesting stuff with AI as well, which would make this whole thing even way more complicated than this. She will be talking about them a little later. Again, not all websites are considered worthy. You really need a certain brand and a certain audience for ads to even start to bring revenue and to make any sense. Is anyone surprised by this? Not all countries are equal. And what might be easy, again, in Europe, the UK, or North America, is not accessible or easy in other parts of the world. And definitely not everyone is rich. Not everyone is willing to pay for yet another subscription. Things are so expensive as it is, honestly. So not everyone is willing to pay even. And while it may seem quite a challenging, and it is, there is also a big opportunity in there. There is so much content. And these days, with everyone using ChatGPT as their assistant, there will be way more content independently from the quality of the content. So what would be really ideal? Ideally, what if we are in a situation where publishers can make some money because everyone has bills to pay, but at the same time, the user experience is not compromised. So I can have a pleasing experience while also supporting these, platforms, these authors that I really appreciate and I like their content. ChatGPT created that for me, by the way, you can tell. And that's where web monetization comes in. So Web Monetization is one of our apps within the Interledger Foundation. And simply put, the Web Monetization API would allow any web page to get paid from users as long as they have web monetization enabled. Obviously, there are a few, setups and checks to be put in place, but that's the whole concept. Now, we are not saying, oh, get rid of all your ads or subscription paywalls if that model works for you. And we are not pretending that web monetization would be able to replace that. But what we are saying is, here is on top of that, here's another option. Here's a different way to get some revenue. And maybe the portion of users that you might be losing because they are not willing to pay for a subscription, this might be a way to win them back because you're giving them another option to support you. On the other hand, if I want to read something, there is this model which is pay as you browse. So it's very important. With web monetization, the user has the control. So I get to say, this is how much I love Pixel Pioneers, and this is how much I'm willing to support the content they have there. So Oliver doesn't tell me, if you'd like to read this article, you have to give me £8. No, I read the article and then I decide, I really like this, it's useful for me, and today I can afford to give this little bit of money to, Pixel Pioneer. So it's, as long as I am browsing the website, there is money going in. And we talk about micropayments, which is also a little bit of a philosophical question, because what is a micropayment? £10 can be considered a micropayment for somebody. It can be considered a big payment for somebody else, especially when we consider, different countries and geographies, etc. But the point is, this can go, I can be streaming 1 cent every hour. Because the idea as well is, yes, I can do a one-time payment. So I read the article, I like it, and I'm like, boom, £10. Or I can say, I am willing to spend, every month, I'm willing to spend £20. So every time I am browsing Pixel Pioneer's website, money would be streaming in the background with a certain amount per hour. Again, 60 cents per hour. So every few minutes, a portion of that 60 cents would be going to Oliver, in a way. Again, this brings it to a more competitive landscape, because the small publishers who can get much maybe with ads, they are still small enough. This could be a solution for them. If you are in Africa, if you are in South Africa, we do have a few publications in South Africa who experience this. This could be a way to kind of help different publishers on different levels. And you will be supporting the content you like directly. And this is especially with artists and the music. This comes a lot. I'm not sure about the exact Spotify model, but I know sometimes people complain how much money the artist takes versus the platform they are in, etc. So this could be a way to get all the revenue for yourself, if that's possible. Right, so how does all this work? I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide. The point of this slide, because I said we are a tech stack basically to move value between ledgers and payment systems. In a similar way, the internet, we move information. So this is just to kind of give you the similarities on how the tech stack works. Web monetization, think about web monetization. Web monetization would sit on top of open payments, and it's kind of considered as a user application. So under the hood, web monetization uses open payments, and that is a standard. And what we do is, this is also very important, we facilitate payments. We don't do settlements. We tell the different parties, the providers, hey, there is this payment that needs to happen between you two, settle that. So it's just like a facilitating mechanism in the middle. So again, back to Pixel Pioneers. After these 20 minutes, everyone loves it, and Oliver rushes back to put web monetization on Pixel Pioneers' website. Which one should I go with first? Okay. Let's go with wallets. The concept of making payments or moving money is kind of the same. You need a wallet to take money from and a wallet to put money in. So in order for this to work, you need digital wallets. And these digital wallets, they need to be supporting web monetization. So this is part of the work that we do. We are trying to grow the ecosystem. We have partners that we work with that are wallet providers. And we are trying to get everyone on board to support web monetization. So far, we have 3 wallets in different stages of maturity doing that. So I have a wallet. Oliver has a wallet. Both wallets are web monetization, support web monetizations, no issues there. The other thing that Oliver would need to do is, how am I to know that the website supports web monetization? So using that, the wallet address, Oliver simply needs to add that link tag to the page. And we do actually have a link tag generator. So get your wallet address, go to the generator, say, get me like this line of code and copy paste. So that way, Pixel Pioneers is web monetized. Now, how am I gonna give money to Pixel Pioneers? In an ideal world, it would be an in-browser implementation. So this would come with the browser. We are currently collaborating with the Chromium team. We are working on a prototype for the in-browser implementation. But as you might guess, it takes time, and that's only one of many browsers. So if it's taking time with this browser, it's going to take even more time with other browsers. In the meantime, while we are working on this, we worked on a web monetization extension available on the web store, support any Chromium-based browser. So it's on the Chrome Web Store, Firefox, and Edge. So the extension would act as the web monetization agent. I'll get my extension, I'll do a little bit of setup, basically putting my wallet address, and then again, that budget, how much money I'm willing to spend, like the streaming every hour, I want to be streaming 80 cents or whatever, and I'm ready to go. Under the hood, what happens is, every time a payment is to happen, we go to Oliver's wallet and say, get ready, there is an incoming payment coming your way. And then we go to my wallet and say, I should have done a demo because people do transfer real money and they get very excited. And also, it would tell my wallet, get ready, there is an outgoing payment that's going to go out of this wallet. And once we do all the magic and the right events, the transfer would happen between the two wallets. Again, we only facilitate this. It's on the wallet providers to actually do the actual payment stuff in there. So this is kind of in a nutshell, how it works. It's a little more complicated and deep than that, obviously, but for the sake of the 2 minutes left. So, since you are a technical audience, I thought you might want to learn more about this. So, web monetization is a specification. It is still in the draft stage, and we are working towards making that a W3C standard. So you can check out this specification. We've got some docs, so you can read all the things I talked about, and you can read the details. You can read more about what open payments are, what the Interledger protocol does, etc. And please do try the extension and tell me all the things that we got wrong and that we need to fix. And with that, so we are working on more tooling for publishers. So we have some easy tooling so people can add banners, widgets on their websites. And again, we are assuming that not everyone is very tech savvy, so it's all very like clicky, and then they will have to copy paste a script. So these are like marketing tools we are providing for the publishers. And then, as I mentioned, we are trying to grow the ecosystem, working with wallets, etc. We are a very friendly community. We do have community calls. They are open for everyone. Again, it is for the community, by the community. So please, if you are interested, if you are curious, do join us. On the QR code, there are a bunch more information because it is a foundation. There are grants for research, there are grants for startups, for individuals. There is a summit coming up in Mexico, and there is like more information about the web monetization. So I guess please join us. And yeah, I have 26 seconds to spare. I can say thank you very much.